It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness.
Hey, welcome back to Baseball 101. We are, well, every week's a special week, but this week we get to go on the Kansas City side of things, which I had to learn when I was looking up where exactly Platte County is, but I found it. It's on the map, right? The northern tip of Kansas City, correct, Coach?
Yes, just about 5 minutes north of the airport.
See, if you don't know where Platte County is, you already learned something. You should stick around. All kinds of things you probably didn't know coming up here in the next, I don't know how long we'll talk. It will be shorter than last week, though. I promise we're not going on hour and 20, whatever that was, but all good stuff. Go back, watch it. Break up into 2 sessions. Need to fall asleep. Throw that on there for you. But today we have Coach Sipes from Platte County, and he has I got some notes here, make sure they're right. But you played in college at Northwest Missouri State, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Northwest Missouri State, you were assistant at Odessa and Central for a couple years before taking a little break.
Yep.
And then you
took about a 10-year hiatus and focused on the little guy, traveling and following him around, and then opportunity came at Platte County, so I jumped on it.
So I was going to ask you later, but what was it about Platte County that made you want, after a 10-year break, going, hey, this is the right program, right fit for you?
Well, I wanted to have for my son Nolan, I wanted him to be in a community or a high school that was like mine, because I went to Savannah, Missouri, and it was a very small-knit community. The community backed up the sports and was always there. The town basically shut down for Friday nights.
Yeah.
And so I wanted that, but not in Savannah. And Platte County was that community that we fell in love with. And we knew that we wanted him to be here and get a better chance at being recognized and all that stuff. So I actually was teaching for 2 years in Platte County before I was coaching. So no. I was hired in 18 or 17 and didn't start coaching until the 19th season.
So you've been there 19, then COVID, so 19 through 25. And that time, if my math's right, and I got called out on some math last week, so sorry, I couldn't figure out how many players I played in our conference in 55 years. But this math, I think, is pretty close. You're close to 130 and 68 in your time there, and you have a 2022 state championship and a 2025 state championship. That sound about right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you guys have had a ton of success in this really short stint compared to a lot of other coaches there. So, and it's not like I know the conference on that side of the state, but I was looking through. I didn't realize there were 28 teams in that KC Suburban Conference. Like that, as a monster conference.
Yep. So. It's broken up into different divisions. Like we have a gold, a red, a blue, a white, and I think there's another one. But and it's based off of levels. Like I think the gold is like the Liberty North, the Staley's, and then the red I think is Liberty, and so I think we're in the white conference. So our conference isn't the best per se. The division we're in, but it still gives us some quality competition over here in the, because we play those other schools as well. So
is it broken up by success or by enrollment?
Well, actually, I think it's enrollment and proximity.
All right. So makes a little sense. So Platte County, just for those on this side of the state, and obviously a lot of the people that watch are over here, like, what's Platte County like? How many students? What facilities? What is Platte County about?
Our facilities are top notch. We just passed a bond issue. We have a brand new weight room, brand new field house. Our weight room overlooks our football field, so you have these big glass windows that overlooks the south end of the football field.
Nice.
Our baseball field's got the turf infield with the grass outfield. It's got the champion style wall. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a very, very awesome. It's not a chain link fence by any means.
Yes.
And so our facilities are really top notch. And so that really portrays into the success of the community and the teams that we have around here. But I would say I think we're right around just under 1,100 students. I think
somewhere in there.
So freshmen through juniors.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it. You guys won it in 5A, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Both in 22 and 25.
So I saw you guys play. I was down there in 22 and 25, so I was able to watch it. Actually, this past year, I watched the whole game against Vianney. Well, at least the first part of it, because there wasn't much to watch at the end of it, because you guys absolutely dominate that game, which was impressive. And I was impressed with your team. I was impressed with how they played, and just the intensity of your team this in 25. I don't remember 22's group. Obviously, they were good, but I remember watching you guys this year going, this program's doing a lot of things well. So congratulations on both championships. But they represented your school very well just from an outsider watching them. They played the game well and hard.
Yep. And that's all we ask of them.
And that's what it kind of leads me to the next. I mean, kind of the pillars of the program that you try to instill in all the kids. I'm sure you have a very clear vision, because based on what I saw, I'm assuming I know what they are, but I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts of what you really want out of your kids.
We kind of, without realizing, adopted a lot of what Central Missouri does, and Coach Crooks down there. So our 4 pillars are love, integrity, discipline, and selflessness. And what that spells L.I.D.S, kind of like a hat. And so we have that on the back of our practice shirts so that we can see that every day. And, obviously we want to love each other. We want to have integrity, making sure we're doing the right thing on and off the field, especially when no one's watching. Discipline, we want to have the self-discipline to, again, do the right thing. And then the selflessness is putting the team before yourself. And that's really the biggest part of it all, is the selflessness. And I think that's what separated our 23 team from our 22 team. Was in 22, it was a team effort. No one was better than anybody else, and the seniors really stood up and made sure that there was no selfishness going on. And then in 23, we didn't have that leadership, and it came back to bite us big time. And that's been my only year so far that I finished under 500.
So after that experience, and I'm curious, because I talked to the Zuma West coach, and obviously I was at Howell forever, and Howell Central. Obviously, you identified there was some lack of leadership from 22, 23. Did you adjust anything going into 24? Do you do captains, or how's that structure within your program?
We don't necessarily pick out captains. We just kind of, I rely on some of the upperclassmen, or, maybe like, it's because you don't want to force anybody to be a leader that's not capable of being a leader. So, and we don't want to label a guy a captain if he's not able to really handle that responsibility. So, what we do is the coaches and I kind of sit down and we look at the characteristics of the different players and say who would be a good leader, a good captain to, basically take the reins if we need it to be. So that's kind of how we do that.
And that's what every program does a little different. And I'm always curious from successful programs, because some have the coaches appoint captain, some have a player vote, some don't. And I mean, I always felt like leaders naturally kind of evolve and step up.
Right.
Like whether they're labeled a captain or leader or not, leaders lead. And when it's their time to lead, when there's a void of leadership, a leader will step into that void and lead. But every program does a little bit different, and philosophies are different. But I was just curious because, I mean, Zumwalt West, where I was at last year, it was very clear that the captains really are voted on by the players, and then they lead so much of that program that I'd never seen that philosophy or that structure before. So it's interesting. Obviously, you guys do it differently, and I think that's what more than anything I want like people watch. There's numerous ways to be successful and develop
Yeah.
leaders. It doesn't have to come the same way from each program. So that's
And that's kind of like those 4 pillars that, like I said, the coaches and I, we get together and we think about who embodies those 4 principles the most. And then that's kind of how we, I don't want to say label a captain, but that's who the coaches tend to go to when, there's stuff that needs to be addressed. So like, for instance, we had Dayton Dahl last year. He was a phenomenal player. Like he set the school record for hits in a season with 148. He did everything right on the field. But he wasn't a vocal. He didn't like that. He wasn't a very outspoken guy. So I didn't want to put that pressure on him to be something that he wasn't. And we had, honestly, our juniors were bigger leaders last year, when we needed somebody to put the foot down and say, hey, we need to get it together. So it was it's kind of neat to let it evolve and just to see who breaks out of their shell and can stand up and be that leader.
Yeah, and that's obviously when kids are younger, sometimes they're behind other leaders, and when there's an opportunity to step up. So going back to the 4 pillars, I meant to ask you earlier about it, but is that something that you came up with, or how did you settle on these 4, you and your coaches or players, or?
It's like I said, unknowingly, we kind of adopted what was from UCM. So we went to a coaches camp down there, and they had those 4 things, not verbatim, but a lot of the same ones in their locker room in their clubhouse. And so that just kind of reinforced that we were doing the right thing. And so it was really just the coaches. I kind of sat down and had the coaches think of 4 quality characteristics that we want the team to be and to look like, and that's what we all came up with.
But there's nothing about winning in there.
Winning's comes with it, Coach. If you can do all that stuff, winning's a byproduct of all that.
Absolutely. And I think I get one of my biggest frustrations is people assuming that only if you win, then you're a good coach. And I've been around long enough to see there's some quality coaches that develop kids on and off the field, but they just don't have the talent to do that, to win state championships. And in your 4 pillars, obviously you've had a ton of success, but to have in there, like, even loving kids, to me, that's a new approach to coaching. I know when I played, I'm sure when you were in high school, what, late 90s, college, late 90s?
Yeah. I was high school from 95 to 99, and then college was 99 to 03.
And I know when I played that old school, there wasn't much talk about loving players, loving each other. And
nope.
It is special to see within a program when it adopts that kind of servant leadership and that loving each other. It becomes a very powerful movement of these collective people together moving forward. So I obviously, for those watching, I've never had a conversation with Coach before. So I'm learning this as you guys are, and to see that be one of your pillars, to me, excites me. And for the players in your program, I hope they understand how special it is to have a coach that believes in those pillars and not it's all about winning or all about accolades and being coach of the year,
right,
whatever else. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And yes, so obviously we both played in the 90s, and then we've been around baseball most of our lives. From adopting kind of that mindset of love and all that, like, are there other coaches that you've mimicked that? You talk about UCM, but have you played for coaches or clinics or whoever else that you've picked up some other coaching philosophies from?
Really, it was my American Legion coach back in high school, Denny Peterson. He's out at somewhere coaching junior college now in California. But he was very big on relationships. Like, he was the guy that would joke with you, but and he cared for you, but when it came down to it, he was ready to, put you in your place if he had to.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I learned that part of it was, I wanted to be like him because he was super successful. He coached my brother. My brother loved him, and my brother was not an easy person to get along with, but he enjoyed him, and my dad. It was just we all loved this guy, and so it's kind of just how I came up with the love aspect of it. And when when I took the program over, there was some negativity going around from the previous coach, and there wasn't a lot of um, good things said, I guess you could say, without getting into too many details.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that when I had my parent meeting. I talked about love and how I'm going to incorporate that and how I'm going to love each and every one of their boys like they were my own. And it just kind of stuck, and here we are.
Yeah, and that's such a special thing to see from a coach, because I know most people that went into coaching had a coach at some point that loved us and helped us grow, whether it's on or off the field. And we all have those stories, and that's why most of us give back to the game, and we have for so long. With your program, and again, out of curiosity, I don't know, you have freshman team, JV, varsity. You have 3 teams, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So how do you're at the middle school teaching, we talked about a little bit, but how are you able to stay connected to the freshman, JV, and varsity? Because some programs really separate varsity from freshmen, and the head coach focus on varsity and freshman. Do you try to get to know all the kids through your program, or how does that work?
Yep. We try the best we can. With only having one field, that's where our facilities are kind of lacking. We only have one field and 3 teams. So if there's a game going on, someone's either practicing for an hour, like right before the game, or down in the batting cages, or just doing whatever we can. But I try to go to every freshman game that I possibly can, every JV game that I can, just so that they know that I'm visible and I'm there, and I want them to understand that I care about them. And it's not just, I'm not here just for the varsity guys. And then whenever we get a chance, we all practice together. For the first hour or so, we do our individual stuff together. And then when it's, if we're going to do like a scrimmage or whatever, when obviously you don't want the varsity going against your freshmen, so we'll split up then. But for the most part, we practice all together, and the freshmen go through the same drills as the varsity, because I want the varsity guys to teach and to lead as well, so that they can buy into the program. They can help those younger kids really buy into what we're doing.
Yeah. So obviously, assistant coaches, you can't be everywhere at the same time. So have you been able to keep the same assistant coaches for the most part, or how?
On varsity, yes. But other than that, no. My retention for my lower levels is really bad as of late. And it's nothing. They've gone on to do get better jobs, which is, it's kind of like what you want. You want to have your staff grow and go out and do their own thing. But yeah, my infield guy has been with me from day one, and he does tremendous things with our infield. And then my pitching coach, again, we're a little unorthodox in the way we do our pitching, but it works for us, and he's got it mastered. He's a numbers guy, and he's got a heck of a system that we've incorporated. But yeah, so as far as my 2 varsity assistants, they've been with me all 7 years. So,
well, that definitely helps when there's clearly defined roles and you have assistants that you can trust to take care of pitching and infield. I mean, there's freedom for you to be able to focus on other things, because
yep.
I think that's one of the things that definitely has changed since we played long ago. There used to be just 2 coaches, and there weren't as many responsibilities or expectations on a head coach. And now it seems like head coaching is a lot more
Managers.
other things besides teaching the game of baseball, which is
I feel like I'm more of a GM than anything sometimes.
Which is a different role, and it's tough to do, but some. Obviously, you've done it very well. One of the things that I came across this as I was trying to look at Platte County baseball and educate myself on what you guys do. And I ran across this on YouTube, and I'm like, this is a first. I've never seen this. You guys do hype videos each year?
Not well. We tried recently.
Or at least the last I saw, like 23, 24. There was
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 on there. I was like, I've never seen a school do this. These are awesome.
Yeah, we have a very awesome student marketing department. So we have a marketing class, the sports marketing class, and a lot of the baseball players are in it. So I just say, hey, I talked to the teacher, and she's like, yeah, I'll put someone on it, and they come up with it. That is all 100% student done.
I'm putting in Platte County, and all of a sudden it said hype video, and I'm like, what is? I clicked on. I was like, well, this is fun. I mean, that's what, and I think I say it all the time. To me, sports are fun I mean, it's got to be fun and development.
Yep.
Those two things are pretty much, to me, the two reasons why we do what we do. And for kids to have fun with social media or with like the hype video and different things, it just makes it a more enjoyable high school experience. Win or lose, you're enjoying what you're doing. So,
Yep.
Is there anything besides? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go right ahead.
I'm actually trying to get to do some old like reenactments of the old movies, baseball movies, like when Bull Durham and all that. I'm trying to figure that out. So as soon as we get that done, I'll send that to you guys.
Oh, I would love to see those. I brought Wonder Boy, The Natural. I brought that.
Yeah.
I did not know the last time we were on, Robert Redford died that day, and I was like, oh, I'm a horrible human.
Yeah.
But what blew my mind, like Major League, a lot of the players, and I'm teaching at the high school still, a lot of them have never seen Major League or Bull Durham. Mm-mm. And I mean, I start to cry a little bit, and they're like, Coach, Is it that serious? I'm like, yes, it is.
Like, this is some of the best movies ever, man.
Oh, there hasn't been a good baseball movie in I can't remember the last good baseball movie.
I think it was For the Love of the Game, Kevin Costner.
Love of the Game was good. Trouble with the Game. I said a good baseball movie. They're saying suggestions in here. I'm like, come on. Like that's. I was gonna say. I mean, not horrible.
Clint Eastwood doesn't really make a good scout.
No, Moneyball. I mean, there's some,
that is a great movie.
But compared to Bull Durham, to me, Bull Durham's at the top of the baseball list. Just I played professionally a little bit, and that to me is the best depiction of minor league baseball I've seen. But I mean, we could have a whole discussion about baseball movies before I get too sidetracked. I would love to see, like, if you make some of those videos, please share them. We'll get out. I'm sure we can get those things sent out here and share those. So
yeah,
because that's the fun stuff for kids to experience. That is awesome. Besides the videos, and I asked the different coaches because people view it differently. But are there other things that you try within your program to intentionally integrate some fun or to break up? The season gets long. There's pressure, there's stress. There are other things that you guys try to do to try to take some of the pressure off and just enjoy the season?
Well, it's kind of always at the beginning of the year during spring break, but we always do a big trip. Well, I shouldn't say always a big trip, but it just so happens in 2022 and in 25, the years we both won the state, 22 we went down to Florida and spent a week during spring break, and then this past year we went to Gulf Shores and spent a week down there. And so that's just a time I go down there and it's all about team bonding. When the kids are in the hotel rooms, I take their phones. It's sometimes I let them have them, but I try and make sure that, or at least I tell them, get off your phone, be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Communicate with your teammates. A lot of them will bring their Xboxes and everything, and they stay up late and play all that stuff. So we do a lot of team bonding that way. But as far as in the grind of the year, there's a barbecue place here just outside of town that we always take the team to when we're, we'll give them a goal, say, hey, you win the 3 out of 4 games this week, we'll take it to Tin Kitchen. So we'll take the kids out to eat and just have some good times with them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you need to go to Florida. Are you going again this year?
This year we're gonna go down to Arkansas.
Look, I know baseball, where most people are pretty superstitious. If I went to Florida twice and won 2 state championships, I'd be pretty tempted to be back in Florida. But
yeah, but
yeah, I was going to say that's what it's a lot
it
of
takes about 3
fundraising.
years to save up for that. Yeah.
Well,
So,
you can't wait every 3 years for a state championship, though. You need a donor or something to get you back down there.
yeah. That would
Unfortunately,
be nice. Let me know if you got anybody.
yeah, I'll Venmo that over to you. No problem.
So,
But besides that, the team bonding and trying to get them connected, like starting at the beginning of the year, and I'm just out of curiosity, what's your structure for like tryouts? Like, do you do that all together? You have one field, but like if a kid's in 8th grade right now and he's like, I wonder what tryouts are going to be like at Platte County, like what would you tell them to prepare for?
I would tell them that the day one's going to be like all metrics day. We're going to get your 60. We're going to get your arm strength. We'll get your bat speed and all that stuff, just so we have quantitative measures in case we have a parent that says, "Well, my kid is this and this and this." Well, I got this quantitative data that says this player is better, and so it's just kind of a backup plan for me, really. That and you can also get an honest evaluation if someone runs a 8 flat 60. He better hit the ball a long way.
For those that don't know, an 8 flat 60 is not what you want to be running. So
no.
Eight's a good way. You better hit the ball 450 feet.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we will. And then day 2 will be more skill based. We'll run them through some drills, hit some ground balls, fly balls, put them in situations and things like that. And then those first 2 days, we're also throwing bullpens to get a gauge on our pitchers. We'll track velocity. We take and track their consistency in that. Like out of 15 pitches, how many strikes they throw.
Yeah.
Do that. We'll give them locations and stuff to see how well they hit their spots. And then that usually gets us ready for Wednesday, which is day 3, and day 4 we'll do kind of a inter squad. It's like we'll have 5 pitchers or 5 hitters with one. Each pitcher gets 5 hitters regardless, and then we just rotate them in like that.
So are you again program preferences, but some programs really want to keep the freshmen, sophomores kind of down. Are you just looking for the best players that can step in and produce, or do you try to keep some kind of give the upperclassmen a chance?
We'll pair them up so it's freshman versus freshman and things like that. We wouldn't ever put, like Brennan McLaughlin, who throws 94 against a freshman out there. But
that'd be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, and so usually by day 4 we kind of have an idea. Or actually by day 3 we really have an idea. That day 4 is just to kind of reinforce. Basically, if there's a bubble kid that is, we could take him, or we'll give him another chance on that Thursday to see if he can stand out and do anything, and then we'll make cuts usually Thursday afternoon, and then or right after practice, which takes a while because I meet with every player.
That was my next question. Is I was assuming, based on your pillars, that there would be conversations individually with kids, which those are hard.
It's the worst day of my life. I actually hate it. Telling a kid that he's not good enough to play. I remember when I got cut when I was playing independent ball. It was just like, just take my heart and step on it. Like you just took my livelihood away. But anyway,
the more success you have, and I mean, we've had this talk at how many times. Unfortunately, when you're state champion and you have that kind of talent, there's kids that you aren't keeping that legitimately can start at other schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it doesn't soften the blow because the kid's like, well, if I'm that good, then why can't I? But you just can't. We got 2 D1 whatever center fielders.
Right.
We just don't have the spot for you, which is hard. But
Yeah, and not to mention you're going to be going against some, Staley who had 4 Division I commit pitchers this year.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we're up against. So
yeah, it's
got to make sure that I'm preparing the team for success as well, and not just individuals.
So do you have a number that you try to stay around as far as roster size?
45 to 50.
Yeah.
Try and keep about 15 each squad, and then that gives me room to bring up JV kids or freshman kids throughout the year. We want to try to reward them, and by the middle of the season, we'll try and move some kids up if they deserve it.
Yeah, get a little time. One of the things I did want to ask about, and it was, I don't know if I read it in something that you about the importance of the mental side. Do you guys do a lot to teach that part of the game, the mental component, the confidence, however you want? A lot of people call it different things, but basically the mental side of the game, is that an emphasis within what you do? I read somewhere that you did. So what do you do with that stuff?
We try and do some classroom time, like whenever it's a rainy day or whatever. We save that, and we'll go inside and we'll just talk. The mental side of baseball, hitting, how much you have to mentally be able to forget either each swing or each at bat or each inning. How you have to be able to move on from a negative exposure, and we give them tools on how to do that. For instance, me, when I was in college, if I took a bad pitch or took one right down the middle plate or swung at a bad pitch, I would step out and I would rake out the box with my cleats. And basically, to me, it was telling myself, all right, now I have a clean slate. I've got all the bad mojo out. I'm ready for my next pitch. So we just kind of give them tools like that, and just talk about how, baseball is a game of failure, and we just keep iterating that until hopefully it eventually sinks in. So,
and it's a tough, especially playing in the conference you play in with the talent that you're playing against. You're going to see pitchers that they're just going to be better than you on that day, and it's tough. It's tough for a kid that's had success his whole life to suddenly face. I mean, we saw Urbeck at the Final Four this year. He was 92 with a slider that was just nasty, and on that day, you just tip your hat to him and say, well, he was better. Yep. But it's hard to get a high school kid to not base his confidence on success. So I'm not,
especially in the high pressure game like a state championship game or even the semifinals.
And that's when the kids are 0 for 3 trying to explain to them it was a quality at bat, you swung at the right pitch, you barreled a ball. You can't be results oriented as far as your confidence goes, because that's hard. I'm assuming you get the same struggle with kids. Is there something? Is it just constantly having that conversation with them, or is there anything else you do?
Yep. We we do a thing called warning track power. And so if we have a kid that's struggling, for instance, our pitching coach he'll take the pitchers that aren't scheduled for bullpens that day, and we walk the warning track with them, and we just talk. How's school? How's family? How's your girlfriend? What's going on? Just to kind of get to know them, and just talk to them. And then we kind of get into some mental. We'll talk about the mental sides and how to, again, just give them tools again to help them overcome and understand that the game is very hard, and you make it harder when you put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
He does that with the pitchers, and I try and do that with the hitters.
So where do you come up with? I mean, I love the idea. I mean, I've seen it in different fashions, but not that intentional. Like, when did you start doing that, or where'd that come from?
Really, my pitching coach just started doing it, and it was I think it was in 2021. It was the year after COVID. He just started walking with him, and I was like, because we're sometimes we're brutally honest with the guys. We'll tell them you're almost there, but you're just not better than this guy right now, or whatever the case may be. And so we'll take that time and we would explain that to them, and it would always help soften the blow. They may not like it, but they at least understood. And so I'm like, there's some power in this. And I was like, warning track power. Perfect. Yeah. It's just the whole baseball thing of it goes, it fits. And so we just kind of incorporated it from there on.
And I think a lot of players don't understand that when a coach is honest with them, that means the coach cares. Like, I say to my class all the time, look, I'm not your typical teacher. I'm not here not to be done. I'm not here to build you up. I'm here to be honest with you. And I'm honest with you because I care about you. If you got food on your face and I don't tell you, you walk out in the hallway, obviously I didn't care enough to tell you, hey, wipe the food off your face.
Right.
So I love the fact that you are intentional in taking those walks with the kids. I mean, I know from talking to players all the time, they just want the truth. They want to know where they stand. They want to know the expectations, and to take that time with them, it just builds that relationship with them.
Yep.
So,
and it's the power of communication. There's no questions if it's all out on the table. There's as long as you're 100% transparent, there shouldn't be any question. And that was one of the things I actually learned from my college coaches, to be completely honest with your players at all times. I remember in fall, we were struggling really bad, and he pulled us into the classroom one day, and he just went player by player and said everything that was wrong with us, and just let us have it.
Yeah.
So,
it's not easy to hear, but at least you know where you stand.
Yeah, exactly. So,
to me, honesty comes from, it's a byproduct of, if you love someone, you're honest with them.
Right.
I mean, it goes back to that pillar of, like, if you truly care about the kid and you want the best for the kid, you're going to be honest with them. You're not going to lie to them and be like, hey, no, you're the greatest ever. No, you need to be better at these things, not just on the field. Like, the first couple of things you talk about is what's going on with your family, what's going on with life. It's just not all about baseball. Mm-hmm. And I think, the classes I teach, I literally sit and hear kids talk about, it's juniors and seniors, but basically it's upper level. It's a health elective, which I think we're the only one in the state that offers it. But a lot of these kids just want someone to talk to listen, to have them listen. And I don't think there's a lot of coaches that understand how powerful it is to invest in that aspect of that relationship, not just the baseball part, but here's things you need to work on off the field. Here's things you need to work on. The amount of times I'm like, hey, if you're having family problems, you're upset with your mom or dad, hey, here's how you can have that conversation, but you can't avoid it. Go home and have that conversation. So that was awesome. That was worth just sitting here talking to you. I've never heard anyone do that. So congrats. Your pitching coach, whoever he is, what's his name?
Neil O'Brien.
Neil O'Brien, great job coming up with that one. Although I'm guessing you came up with a name. So together, it's a team thing. Both of you, great job. So as you've been there since 19, you're starting to get to the point where your players are now moving on, being done with college and coming back. And I'm assuming, based on what you're preaching here, continuing that relationship beyond baseball is important to you. So you've been able to continue doing that. The guys in college still.
In fact, probably at least 10 of my old players from my first year reach out to me and text me and say, congrats on the state championship this year. And I saw one kid we were out at the fair, the county fair here, and he made it a point to come up to me and says, you were one of my favorite coaches ever. And he goes, I'm so proud of you and just wish you the best. So to me, that was like the absolute pinnacle of why I do what I do. That was like, to me, that was better than actually winning a state championship, to have Sam say that about me. So that's the reason I want to coach, and is to continue to build those relationships like that.
Oh, and that's the special part. I don't think most coaches got into it because we love baseball. We love the game of baseball, and we expected to coach the game of baseball, which we love doing. I did not expect to love the relationship with the players and then ongoing. I mean, before I came to do this, a guy that I talked about, Andy Roney, that I talked about last week, who was on the 2003 team, sent me a text or a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, I just moved back. I want to go out and have dinner with you." That's the part of this game that is so special that I love seeing. Hey, he's all out in life. He's doing well, and the lessons that I try to teach through the game, he's still carrying on, and that's important. And like you're talking about selflessness as one of your pillars. I mean, that when you go to get married, you better understand selflessness. You better understand integrity. You better understand love, because otherwise, you ain't gonna have much of a family structure. And teaching those things so that they can go out and have healthy marriages and families, that's a gift. So
that was honestly another part of too, is like, how can we develop baseball players, but most importantly develop young men? And so that's kind of where we came up. That was obviously a factor in coming up with those 4 pillars.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with those 4 pillars, and I'm excited for your program. I'm excited for what you guys are doing, because with those pillars in place, your coaching staff and what you guys are doing, investing in your players in that way, you guys are going to maximize whatever talent you have. And obviously you can't control the talent that's walking in the door.
Right.
But if you're getting the most out of it, to me, that's a successful program. And obviously you've shown the winning part, which is easy to look at and go, oh, you've won 2 state championships and you're winning games. But when you're developing people off the field as well as doing that, to me, that's what it's all about. So I hope you stick around and coach for a long time, because high school baseball needs those type of coaches.
That's the plan.
Oh.
My son's a sophomore right now, so I won't have much to do once he's gone. So it'll be coaching and coaching and coaching.
So he's a sophomore this year. So will you get to coach him this year? Or will he be?
He was on a reserve on the state championship team.
Oh, so he got to be on the field and win one with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's special. So I was lucky enough to be there 3 times with my son, and we never got to win one. But it is so special to be able to coach your son and know everything and just be able to even make it. And you got to win one with them, so that's awesome. But so I'm curious, because, well, that's who I am. But the coaching your son, obviously I went through this. My son, he was done, 2 years ago. But how's that look at home? Are you able? This was where I always got not trouble. It was challenging for me I want my son to be good at what he's trying to do, baseball. So we're sitting at the dinner table, and I'm like, look, as a dad, am I able to tell him you're dropping your back shoulder, or is that as a coach? So how's that balance been of like coach dad?
Actually, we have a very strong relationship. And I learned very, very quickly that, because I coached him from machine pitch all the way up through, until he got to high school, to where I couldn't coach him anymore. I learned to separate dad and coach very, very quickly, because when he was growing up, he wasn't developing as fast as I wanted him to. So there was times I would get on him and I would like, what am I doing? He's like 10. He's out here having fun. So I just wanted to understand it. I want him to love the game before I ruin it for him. So, but yeah, he's a great kid, and we our relationship at home is, I can say, hey, like his mom and I are split up, so we're divorced or whatever, and he's with her, and I will text him and be like, how was summer practice? Or right now they're in fall, doing fall practice. And I'm like, how was practice? And he was like, I didn't hit very well. I'm like, well, where were you hitting the ball at? He's like, it went past me. I'm like, swing and miss past you? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, that tells me that you're probably pulling off your front side. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. And so we have a very good understanding of dad and coach, and he does a good job of making sure that he calls me coach when he's on the field. He doesn't call me dad or anything like that. So, and I let him know that obviously in a small town like Platte County, there's always going to be critics.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just got to make sure you eliminate the noise and make sure that your effort and your abilities speak for themselves.
Yeah,
So,
it's tough coaching your kid, but I always felt bad for my son because there was always you're only playing because of your dad, or you get this opportunity because of your dad. And it wasn't fair to him, especially I wasn't even the head coach. So it was, but I was very sensitive to, I want to make sure that I support my son as my son, and baseball will take care of itself. But the one thing you said, and anyone watching, please, it's the same thing. We all get caught up in wanting our kids to develop and have success as 8U, 9U, 10U. We see things like, get there faster. But the realization of stepping back and going, you know what, this is my son. I love my son. If he never plays baseball, it's okay. The only thing I tried to do, the one thing I tried to come back to over and over, I did not want my son to stop loving the game because of me. Exactly. And that was, I didn't want to I want to set the boundary so he could enjoy it, not get burnt out. And as long as he enjoyed playing, he plays as long as he can play, great. But I would have always regretted if I would have pushed him or didn't set boundaries for him, and then by his senior year, he's like, I don't want to play anymore. That would have crushed me as a dad.
Right.
So hopefully you parents of 10, you 9, you 8, calm down. It's okay. They'll get there eventually if they don't.
Yep. They don't have to be as good as Jimmy John on the other team or on whoever, the best player is. It doesn't matter. They will get there. My son like I said, he struggled. He wasn't a very good hitter. In fact, his first real experience with travel ball, I think he struck out almost every time.
Yeah.
And now he's hitting balls, like he's hit 3 or 4 home runs. He led the team in hitting one year. So it'll come when it comes. It'll hit him. It'll be a switch and they'll be good to go. So just relax, Dad. I promise.
Yeah, they'll get there. Puberty's the great equalizer.
Yes, absolutely.
I was at a 13U game this weekend, and you got kids that were 6'1", and you got kids that were 5'1", and I'm just sitting there because the parents are going crazy, and I'm like, guys, this doesn't matter. This is fall ball. I just sat there and laughed because I'm not attached to it anymore. But my gosh, calm down. It's youth baseball. It's okay, and as long as they're having fun.
Unfortunately, there's some crazy videos out there on YouTube. It's just like, wow, it's a game, people.
It is a game, and separating this, it's not, when the game becomes your identity, that's when it becomes scary because then it becomes personal. And that's the trying to separate, look, this is something I enjoy doing, and if I turn it into something that I hate, basically I'm destroying myself, which that makes no sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we took a left turn back there. That's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
I didn't start talking about snow cones this time, so that's good. Anyway, but since we are talking, you got favorite flavor of snow cones?
The tiger blood.
Really? That's a pretty common one. That one's I was always like a cherry or grape guy. The tiger blood I've never really gone to, but I guess I have to check that out.
Yeah.
That happens. Anyway, I mean, thanks for giving me an hour of your time, and hopefully everyone watching learned something about Platte County, about your program. I know I respect what you're doing a ton just based on what you told me today, and I wish nothing but the best for you, especially with your son on the team and that program moving forward. Hopefully I can get out and watch some games this spring.
Appreciate it. Where do I need to send you guys a hat? Can you guys email me an address or something?
I'll have Mr. French send over that information for you. We'd love to put that up here right in front of me. So we'll get that done. You guys watching, make sure you go down and hit that subscribe thing, because we have a lot of other great coaches coming on. We have coach from Staley. I think Staley's coming on here soon. We have a lot of great coaches coming on and here from different ones. So we have, I get to meet all kinds of great coaches. This is great. I retire from coaching, then I just sit and talk to you guys, and I have no pressure left. So, but we got great episodes coming up. We got previous ones that are on there, so make sure you subscribe, like them, share them. Not everyone knows that these are out. So if you're a fan of Platte County, or you have family that's alumni from Platte County, you're like, hey, listen to what this guy's doing over here. It's pretty good, or it's really good. That's great. Do that. I appreciate your time, and wish you nothing but the best, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.